Hey friends, welcome back to Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Tube. I'm Kayla, and I am so happy that you are here with me today. All my favorite people right here crocheting together, or at least enjoying a few minutes together, whether you crochet or not. You're still my friend. So, what's up? What are you doing and what's keeping you busy? Okay, first off, I want to say I think my prednisone is finally kicking in. And it might do some big talking for me. Like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's the prednisone talking, okay? Prednisone loves to play tricks on me. But I think it's finally kicking in, and I just needed a boost. So, when Paige had done my meds yesterday, I told her, I said, hey, give me 2 extra prednisone in that. And so she did, and I'm getting a boost from it, so that's good. I needed something. Ugh. Anyway, so I am trying to pretend that all is well, okay? And it may be. Who knows? So what are you guys doing? I decided to just play in this book and crochet a goldfish. And I didn't have a gold. I mean, I do have a tangerine. That's the color that the author used in this book, that Jenna used. She used a tangerine, but I've used some of that tangerine, and I didn't know how much of the skein it would use, so I didn't want to like work on this fish and then get to the end and find out I didn't have enough yarn. So I had this. Now let me just start over. I am using the book No So Many Amigurumi, and somebody mentioned that the snake was only 11 inches because it's a mini snake. Duh. I did not even think about that. Yes. The snake in the book, the pattern one, is only 11 inches because it's a mini. And I created one, and I didn't like it being so little, so I kept going on it and made mine, I think, 22.5 inches long. So anyway, I'm happy with mine. And yeah, that's exactly why it was only 11 inches, because it's a mini pattern. Excuse me. I didn't even think. Okay, so I'm making this little fish right here. And the color that I'm using, it starts with the tail and works up. The color I'm using is, okay, I'm using Big Twist Posh. Don't have much of that. It's a 5 bulky. And the color is egg yolk. Okay? Egg yolk. It says so right here. I had to get my magnifying glass out and read that. Well, my magnifying glass is right here. I had to get it and read it. But it does say egg yolk. And, you know, after I was like, huh, yeah, that is look like a real pretty egg yolk. Sometimes duck eggs have a brighter yolk than a chicken egg. And so I thought, yes, that looks like a duck egg yolk. We used to have ducks and chickens and all kinds of geese and turkey and all that. Anyway, so that's what I am starting on. I thought, well, that would be a cute little amigurumi. Probably be a quick make. I don't know. You also got to make the ends for it. But it does start with a tail. So that's pretty good. Getting that part out of the way, and then just crocheting up the body down to the nose. And that Posh, I don't have very much Big Twist Posh, and I only have some odd colors in it, like egg yolk. I don't have the normal, like, colors that, I don't know, that you would reach for some projects. When I went to try to stock up on some Posh when my store was closing, well, the store in Shreveport, it's not in my town, It's about 2.5 hours away from me. When it was closing and I went over there to try to get some Posh, they only had about 4 or 5 different colors, and it was kind of odd colors. It wasn't like, you know, yellow, blue, green, red. It was more like, wait a minute. I done messed up. Yak in my mouth. Wait, am I? Okay, I am supposed to be doing double crochets. Yak in my mouth here and thought I messed up, but maybe I didn't. Definitely gonna have to count these stitches though, definitely. But, so I don't have like a lot of colors of the Posh. And what colors I do have, I have like a mint green, I think a strawberry color. Obviously I have egg yolk. I don't know, I feel like this is way too big. It is. I'm pretty sure it is. Did I do my increases already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I'm not doing it right. I don't know why. Let me count my stitches real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so I'm supposed to be increasing on this row. I just need to make sure I'm not going in the same, putting 4 in one. I gotta make sure I'm not doing that. But, so I'm just gonna use those Posh colors that I have and just make some amigurumis that, you know, just kind of odd colors. And then this one, see. I want to make the little dragon in here. I want to make them all. I'll just be honest. I want to make all these projects. But I gotta see what colors I got, but I definitely think the little dragon might be a good market seller. You know what? I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. Okay, do I have 12 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I do. I'm not supposed to increase to 24. I don't know what I'm doing. It just dawned on me that I'm doing the pattern wrong is what I'm doing. I'm just nutty sometimes. Basically, I can't talk and follow a pattern at the same time. Even if I, you know, just got finished making one and I know what the pattern says. I got a little bit of mail today I wanted to share with you guys too. And I do have some Happy Mail that I am just going to make a Happy Mail video. And then from there on out, I'm just going to start showing mail when I get it. But, instead of saving it up for a, you know, long video. And also, I think that would just be easier on me because it would just make more sense to do it that way. Okay. Let me see. Yes. Now that looks more like what I did a while ago. when I did that one. Oh, goodness. I'm so glad that right this moment I'm feeling a lot better than I was yesterday, and especially the day before that. I'm glad to be feeling a little better. Or actually, I feel a lot better than I did, because I was just in misery. And if there's that kind of thing where your pain and your misery is too much for just some tramadol, but not enough for your strong pain medication. So it was in between there. Tramadol wouldn't do anything for it, but my pain medicine would have been way too much for it. So it was that kind of pain, you know, and just couldn't do anything. And someone said I need to go to the doctor, but I just went to the doctor. There's nothing they can do for me. They said, you know, that we're just treating the symptoms because my disease is just progressing and it's just going to continue to progress. I have Scleroderma and Gastroparesis and Lupus, and the Scleroderma progresses and makes the Gastroparesis worse and makes the reflux worse. And the lupus just loves to flare up anytime you get to feeling bad. And, you know, you're down, you're having a bad day, you're hurting. That's when the lupus decides, oh, this is a great time to flare up. Let's just paint this lady's face red. And let's have a ball. Alright, so what Happy Meal did I get? Let's just talk about that. Well, I got these hooks in the mail from Cherie. Thank you, Cherie. I was just talking to Eva about some hooks, that I needed some larger, good hooks. And this is a nice little case that they came in also. That's really a nice case. It's like felt, but it doesn't really feel like felt, and it has a nice button on it. It's really easy to open and close. If I can do it, I'm sure other people can too. And then it has these hooks. Okay, it does have a few little stitch markers, and those stitch markers are a little hard for me, but I will pass these on to Zeke's mom. She's always needing stitch markers too, and she can use these. Alright, and so what was in this package? Look at these pretty hooks. Not just that they're pretty, look how big the handle is. I mean, seriously, you know how, and all of them have the same size handle. You know, in some sets of crochet hooks, I find this so funny that they do this, but you'll have a large crochet hook, and as this part gets smaller, so does this part. Like your hand changed sizes, and your hand got smaller as you used a 6 hook, or if you used a 4 hook. The 4 hook handle is tiny, and the 6 hook handle, you know, is a lot bigger. So I always find that funny that they go down in size, and the handle goes down as if your hand got smaller. But these are nice, and look how big that is. I can read it, okay? I can read that without having to get a magnifying glass or anything. It's a rubbery grip. The white part seems to be plastic, and the green is a rubber. So, and it fits in my hand nicely. I can hold that without dropping or anything. So it was a 7 hook and an 8 hook, and then a 9 hook. Look at that. Isn't that nice? And a 10 hook. I love these. I thank you so much, Cherie. And I'm so sorry you had to send them twice. That was crazy. But yeah, I'm sorry that happened. Anyway, I love these hooks. I needed some larger hooks. I have some plastic ones, and plastic just don't always get it. You know, sometimes your yarn dictates what hook. Like you might have a hook you like, but the yarn don't like that hook. And so sometimes it's not the yarn, change hooks. And you might, you know, be able to use it, you know. But anyway, I needed these metal ones because I had some plastic ones, and sometimes plastic just don't always work. And you need just a metal hook. And then I got a book in the mail, and I'm going to do a flip through video of this book because it seems awesome. But I'll give you a sneak peek. It's the Muppets Official Crochet Amigurumi by Drew Hill. This is from Amazon. It's I don't know why I said 17. I'm looking at the number and saying 17. It's 16. And I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek right here with the glare and everything. Because I'm going to show the book better later. But isn't that awesome? I love that. I kind of looked through it a little bit, and I was like, wait. Let me stop. And I will look through this again later whenever I do a flip through. But this is from Sharon S. Y'all, these are just too cute. These are too cute. I hope these work up quick because I want to make them all. Of course, don't I always say that? I want to make them all. I do. They're so cute. Thank you so much, Sharon. That is awesome. I got one more thing in the mail, but I did order it from eBay, so it's not really Happy Mail, but it came in the mail and it made me happy, okay? Uh-oh. Stand up there, lazy. My troll was getting lazy. Y'all, Grandma came in. Do y'all spot her? Do y'all see her? Yes, Grandma Troll. I needed a Grandma Troll. Oh. Now, y'all are just going to behave. I would leave it to you to cause trouble. The one that Eva gave me. They needed a grandma, and here she is. Now, she is vintage. She is older. She's a little taller than them. She has a lot more hair than they do, and her ears are different. Let me just see. We'll just compare her and Mia. You can see the nose is different. The mouth is a little different. Her skin tone is different. The eyes, I'm talking about the shape and all right here, and the ears, they're all different. And this has a lot more hair. It's a thick head of hair. These are thin. So the vintage ones definitely, you know, seem a little more solid, I guess. She doesn't have a gem on her belly button. But she has a cute little dress. And she's real clean and everything. But I did take a wipey and wiped her down, took her dress off of her, and wiped her down really good, wiped her dress off, and kind of, you know, wiped her hair really as well as I could with a wipey. Anytime I get something from eBay, I, you know, clean it. And she's got brown eyes, and she probably looks like me with that wild gray hair, okay? But yes, Grandma Troll came in, and I love her. She's so cute. And these characters up here, they definitely needed a grandma. Somebody to keep them in line because they're always fighting over who's standing by who. I thought I'd check back in with you guys and show you my progress. I got the 2 pieces of the tail connected. So now I am going around a couple rounds here to just work up to the body of the fish. So I thought I would chat with you guys while I was working on that. Big Daddy came home from work. He had a long day. He had to catch up on some stuff and work hard to get some deadlines met, but he come home exhausted. He fixed him something to eat for dinner. I don't know what he ate, to be honest. I don't even know. Yeah. Phoebe knows. She didn't tell me, but she knows because she went back there to see if she could get a piece. Get a bite of whatever it was. The frogs are loud tonight. I don't know if y'all can hear that. I'm, inside my house. The doors are shut. The windows are closed, but the frogs are so loud. I can hear them in here. Sounds like it is sitting on my desk. It's so loud to me. And oh, seriously, it must be right outside my door. But remember, we live in, the middle of the woods, a rural area. We live way back off the road. We don't live up on the road, so we in the woods for sure. I'm just laughing at the frogs. I hope y'all can hear that. It is so loud. But better wolves, better frogs. Did I say wolves? Better frogs than coyotes howling. Sometimes they sound like they're in the bathroom, like right here with me. They're so loud in the house. It sounds like they're in the house with us. The coyotes. This fish is working up pretty quick so far. I've got some increase rows to do, and I won't record while I'm doing that because I can't talk and obviously count and crochet and all that kind of stuff all at the same time. I can listen. So I have been watching I think it's the last episode of Handmaid's Tale. Years and years ago, Dakota and I started watching that together. And then over the years, I continued to watch it. And I thought he did too. He had moved out and lived on his own. I figured he was still watching it, and I texted him back when this new episode first came out. I texted him and said a new episode of Handmaid's Tale's out, and he said, I quit watching that a long time ago. It got too icky for me. Well, it did, but I kept watching it because I wanted to see it through. And so that was the last episode of this season for sure, but it really felt like it might be the last episode ever. I don't know if it's going to be more seasons or not. Does anybody watch that knows? But yeah, it just had a feeling of like maybe the last of the last. Not sure on that. But anyway, I watched it while I was putting this together, and I did take a break from crocheting and just sat back and watched some of it. To just to pay attention at what was happening. It was a part where it was a little tearful. Does anybody else do that? Do you cry when you're watching shows that you're attached to people, and or you're just happy for them, or you're sad for them, or whatever? Oh. Alright, now that was the 2 rows of single crochets. I probably need to stuff that also before I go on any further. Hey friends, I thought I would check back in with you and show you the progress on my goldfish. And so I'm in a row where I'm going to do 3 rows of just single crochet, and then it probably will start decreasing after that, I'm thinking. But I really was thinking it was going to be bigger around than this, and it's not. So I'm a little confused by that. But I got to keep in mind that mini word, right? Mini, yes. But yeah, I did think it would get a little fatter than this, but it didn't, and that's okay. I'm fine with it. I'm just trying to get my single crochets in now. And I've taken a break, but it's working out pretty quick, and even with the breaks I've taken, it just seems to be getting done. And I am feeling, much better. Like I said, I think that prednisone, I got a little boost of prednisone today, and I think that is what I needed to get over that slump. I hope I can move on past that, and prednisone might do a little talking for me, like I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, but prednisone's a liar. Prednisone is a liar, okay? And if you've ever been on prednisone, you know how it does you. And I was looking for something to watch. I had watched, looking for something else to watch to keep me entertained while I was working on this. And I found on Follow, Season 1, Episode 1, Confessions of Octomom. Y'all remember that way back when, the lady who had 8 children? There was so much being said and all about that you never know if something's the truth or not. But she's on there telling her story, showing her children, her children that she already had. And she's a grandmother now. And then showing the children that she already had, and then showing, the 8 children. And I can't remember how old they are now. Was it 16? I don't know. They're teenagers, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting. But I tell you what, her mom was brutal. When she got pregnant with had the 8 children, her mom said she would be punished for having so many children. That is brutal. I mean, I can't imagine. People are just... Her mom didn't want children at all for herself, but her dad wanted a large family, and so her mom compromised and said they could have 1. So her mom was not doesn't care for children. I guess she doesn't like children, because she said she would be punished for having so many children. Wow. See, I mean, my Bible teaches me that children are a blessing. And I wish that we had had more children, but we just had the 2. Actually, we had Dakota, and then it took us a while. It took us a few years to get pregnant again, and then we had a miscarriage. And then we finally got pregnant with Elijah. And we had said the whole time we was pregnant with Elijah, because it's right at 8 years difference in Dakota and Elijah. 2 months shy of being 8 years difference in them. And so we had said the whole time we were pregnant with Elijah that we wanted to have another one as soon as possible, so he would have a sibling, close in age. And, I was just kind of thinking that I would like to, have 2 or 3 more children. Because I really love the idea of big family. And having multiple children. I'm not talking about having 19 kids. Please. I'm just talking about having 3 or 4, you know. And, anyway, then Elijah was born, and he was born sick. And so that kind of nicked that. But yeah, I would have liked to have had more children. But we just had the 3. So, just curious if you come from a large family or a small family or what. You know, there's no right or wrong. Everybody is blessed however they, you know, it happens or whatever. And some people choose not to have any. And I'm not saying that's wrong either. Only you know. Only you know your situation, your body, your goals in life and plans and stuff like that. But while I would certainly never put anyone down for not having children, I would never put anyone down for having several children. Not even the people who had 19, 20, 21 kids, whatever. I lost count. I don't know how many kids they ended up with, but I wouldn't put them down either because that was their choice. But I just couldn't believe that the Octo mom, okay, they were Natalie, I can't believe her mom said, and she said on camera that she would be punished for having so many children. And she did have 6 children already, but, you know, I don't know. I'm not here to judge her. She loves children. And she seems to have a very close, from what I've seen so far, they've showed her and her older children and her and the 8 children. Did I say 6? I meant 8, whatever I said. But anyway, she seems to have a close relationship with all of them, joking around. So they seem like they're all just best friends, which is cool. And I got way over here off camera, just crocheting away. I'm just doing single crochets all around. But isn't this cool? I love this fish working up like that. I gotta get some eyes out to fix some eyes for it. I think I'll use the same size eyes on this one as I did for the fish. I mean the snake fish, because they're right here on top in my drawer. That's where I left them anyway. And I think they would be the right size for this fish. Cool. Ooh. One more stitch and one more row. Anyway, I just wanted to check in with you guys and show you my progress that I had made. One more row. And that's a perfect little heart, isn't it? I like how that just turned into a heart. When I was looking at the pattern, I mean the picture of the fish in the book, I didn't even catch that that was a heart. But it is. So what y'all think about Grandma Troll over there? She's just like the spitting image of me. She's my mini-me for sure. I wanted a doll that was a mini-me. And if you're in the doll community, you know that people have dolls that they either get someone to make or they create themselves or whatever, and it's a doll that looks exactly like them. Hair color, body shape, glasses, and they'll even have an outfit for them, and they'll recreate that same outfit for their doll. And so there's some, that says some hashtags out there, my doll, my mini-me, doll mini, I can't even think of them now, but there's a lot of on Instagram in the doll community world that the people will show them and the doll that looks like them, doing things or posing, at parks and different places and all. And I always wanted one that looked like me. Not that I think I'm like wonderful looking or anything like that. I just thought it'd be fun. It don't matter what you look like. It's just fun to have a doll that looks like you and to post pictures and all that. And so now I have one. My grandma troll. My hair is a little more silver than hers, but I used to have dark hair, and then it just went silver. A lot of my medications, infusions, and things like that turned it silver, and hair dye would not stick to it. I'd had to dye my hair like every week, and still it didn't stick to all of it. It was lots of places that hair dye would not even stick to. And so it kind of looked, weird. I didn't like the look of most of it not dyed. And a little bit of it dyed, dark brown or whatever. But I'm okay with it being silver. I'm okay with that. I don't stress about it. But anyway, I like that. I finally got a mini-me doll. My troll. I don't know. I just think that's too funny. I sent a picture to my best friend Angela, and I said, it was my mini-me. I said, she looks just like me, spitting image. And she's like, yep, looks just like you. Oh, goodness. One of my Instagram friends, Rhonda, she doesn't watch my YouTube, but, we like each other's stuff on Instagram. She has a mini-me, Miss Rhonda. Her name is Rhonda, and she has a mini-me, Miss Rhonda, and that is the cutest doll. And her mini-me doll's boyfriend is, oh goodness, the name Freeman. Who's the actor? Freeman. Gosh, I can't believe I just forgot his first name. Why did I do that? Morgan Freeman. I had to look it up real quick because I can't believe I forgot Morgan. Golly, that's Dakota's name. Morgan Freeman. That's Miss Rhonda, the mini-me doll's boyfriend, is Morgan Freeman. Looks exactly like him. I don't know if she had that doll head made or if she ordered that doll head off of some site. I think she might have ordered it off of some site and put it on a doll body. And that's Rhonda's, mini-me's boyfriend. And I just love the pictures of them together. And I'm always so jealous of Miss Rhonda getting to hang out with Morgan Freeman. Look at there. So I think I'll be the next round has a lot. It's a lot. The directions is that wide. So I think I have to get off here and read that and make sense of it before I even start trying to do it. But I wonder if you crochet those thins on as you're making that. Maybe, I don't know. It might be. Yeah, because it is, I think, a no-sew, so I bet you do. I just hope my fins end up here and not here and here. I hope they end up on the sides. That's what I always worry about. With no-sew, I'll try to make it no-sew, and if it doesn't work out, then I would just rip that row out, do it a single crochet around, and make the fins and add them on if they don't end up in the right place. And sometimes that happens if you're off a stitch, or even if you messed up somewhere back here and then kind of corrected it, your stitch marker might not be in the same place. But I don't think I've had any mishaps on this. Maybe if I did, it was when I was joining this, but my stitch count was turning out correctly. And at one point, I even took a needle and counted out my stitches, putting a needle in each stitch before I started that row, because I had questions about, do I count this as a stitch? You know, I didn't know if that was a stitch or not, and turns out I guess it was, because I needed that one to make the 16 rows. 16 single crochets. Anyway, I'm just running my mouth. Let me read these directions and see what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, I did the row where it added in the fins, and then I did the next row after the fins, and I don't like them at all. I don't like that. First off, I think they're way too low, because the eyes are going to go up here, and the fin is supposed to go almost, like a row or two low, a stitch or two down, and then the fins. And so my fins are way down here. That would put my eyes like way down here. I don't know. I don't like it. I just don't like it at all. Let's see what this is supposed to look like. And then, not only that, well, I guess, maybe, I don't know. And I would consider the stitch marker at the bottom of my fish. And that ain't gonna work either. So my eyes, I don't know, maybe that would, if I went a little further. But no, I don't know. And then I don't like it because it created this hole here. Even though I didn't skip any stitches, it's just in the side of this chain. It just created this hole, and I just don't like the fins. I don't know, I just don't like them. I'm going to have to go in. I'm going to do a couple more rows, and then I'm going to have to come in with, well, it's not like I can really, I'd have to cut my yarn because I can't find the other end. It's down inside it. I'd have to come in and stitch this because there's a big hole here. When you put stuff in, it's definitely gonna show that. So I feel like I need to sew that hole up. That's why I really don't like no-sew projects, because they don't turn out right for me. They don't. Maybe if I keep going, but that looks like almost to the top of the fish. And this looks like to the bottom of the fish. And then is it going to have a ridge? The top frill. That's what that's called, a frill. But I don't know. It just... So as it goes, the next row, see, like I'm just going to be decreasing. So it's going to put my eyes like, if that's the top of the fish, then the eyes are going to decrease. This row is going to decrease. And the eyes are supposed to have 8 stitches in between them. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My fins are 8 stitches apart. And then as I decrease, this is going to get smaller. There's not going to be 8 stitches. My eyes are going to end up like right here beside each other. I don't know. I just don't like it. I'm going to rip it out. Rip out this row and that row with the thin is. Yeah. I don't like it. And they're not in the right place, obviously. So, put my stitch marker back in there for the time being, because I gotta take this row out. And see, I went from this stitch to this stitch, so I did not leave any holes, and I tried to pull that tight, but it still left a hole here where, yeah. Okay, anyway, I'm not going to fret over it. I'm just going to do it my way. Do it my way. Well, I can't sing. But I'm going to rip that row out, and then I'm just going to do, I don't know. Okay, yeah, I got to rip this row out. And now I can just continue with the single crochets. Was that ant or something? Okay, now I'm just going to continue with single crochets, and afterwards I will crochet some fins and put on it, because I really did not like the way those fins ended up. I don't think they're in the right place. And that happens with me with no-sew projects. When it's time, you know, when you get to the row where you do the ears, they don't end up they don't end up by each other. They end up like one on top, one on bottom. And then when you know, work the legs in, oh, it just never works out. I don't know. It said something in here about the tension. You may have to adjust. It says note. Okay. Let me get my magnifying glass here. It says, note, due to tension, you might have to adjust the placement of the fins to ensure they are aligned evenly on both sides of the fish's body. Well, it still would have left that big old hole on each side, so even if I had adjusted them, I don't want to do the math. I don't want to do it. That's why I, you know, have a crochet pattern. I didn't buy the book. Julie bought the book and gifted it to me. And why it's still a great book, I just don't want to do the math to figure out where to put the fins. I just want to crochet. People who write patterns have to do a lot of math and that, you know, to figure things out and all that. More power to them. They definitely deserve to sell their patterns after they have worked so hard and done the brain power and all that kind of stuff to figure these patterns out. I'm not there. I'm just not. That's not where I want to spend my brain cells. I have done patterns. You know, I wrote loom knit patterns in the past. It's hard to write up a pattern. Because you got to think of every little detail that, you know, and put it in. And it's hard to write it up and stuff. It's a lot of work to it. It's not that that part's hard, but it's tedious and takes up a lot of time. And then have it tested and all that kind of stuff. But my brain cells, I don't want to spend them writing a pattern. There's too many people that's already figured it out there, and I don't want to reinvent the wheel that someone else has already invented. Now, I'll freestyle crochet and just figure it out as I go, but I'm not writing it down. You know what I'm saying? I like freestyle creating crochet, where I'm just doing whatever feels right. But to have to be on count, perfect, no. My brain cells need to go to other important things. Okay. So, that was the row the fins were supposed to be on. And then the next row is the row our head into, and I just ripped it out. So, just catching back up now to where I was after this row. But yeah, if you're doing that pattern, not this pattern, but a pattern with a no-sew pattern where you're putting in things, feet, legs, ears, arms, whatever, and they don't turn out, you can always skip it, crochet them and add them and sew them on at the end. And I think my count has been on point through this. So, yeah. But I'm getting close to getting it done, though, ain't I? Proud of that. But I may have to take a break and rest my hands for a little bit, because they are getting tired. I wanted to get back to where I was, then I'm going to take a break. So I will keep crocheting, take a break, and then I'm going to crochet and figure out where those eyes go. In a few more rows, I'll be adding those. And then closing up my little goldfish. And like I said, this was not a hard make. It was an easy make that has worked out pretty quick, because I have taken breaks during this. And it still seems to have worked out really quick. But, you know, even though I'm going to do them fins later and add them on, it's still a great project. It's just my stitching was off by some kind of way. I don't know. My stitch was obviously off because it didn't work out for me. It probably worked out for everyone else who's done it. Oh, okay. Uh-oh. Oh, I had way too many. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright. I'm going to check back in with you guys in a bit. Three more stitches and I'm going to finish this row. And I'm going to go ahead and finish it. Ugh. Last stitch, last stitch. There we go. Last stitch. Whew, and I'm gonna rest. Give my hands a break and my back a break from leaning over here. Alright guys, I'll check back in with you in a little bit. So I'm at the point where I can put my eyes on my fish, so I tried to find the center of the fish, and then I counted my stitches to try to make it like even on each side. So that is what I am working on here. Try to put this eye in and see what it looks like. And one on this side. And yes, yesterday's video, I believe it was, I accidentally said Cy Robertson died instead of Phil, but I know you are all very, very intelligent people, and y'all know I meant Phil instead of Cy. So I knew that when I played it back and listened to it. I saw that I said Cy, but I let it go because I said my subscribers are so intelligent, they will know what I meant. So I didn't feel the need to record over it, correct it, or anything like that. And I thank you all for knowing that. I know that you know what I meant. Alright, so this little fish is turning out super cute. I didn't even have to use, those eyes went in really well. I didn't even have to use this tool. So I'm going to put it back up. And now I just got to figure out what is my next step. I think just some single crochets around. I think that's what I need to do, is a row of single crochet. Let me see. I probably need to, well, okay. Alright, cinch that up. And trying to see what, I better count, see what row I was on, because I don't want to get down there and figure out I did the wrong row. So let me do that. I am right on point. So I just got to do a row of single crochets. Trying to see what stitch that is in, what hole that stitch is in. I think I need to come over one. Okay. Yes, it is working now. I could back that camera up a little bit so I'm not all up in your face. All right. Okie dokie. When I had started this video was late last night, and I felt so much better, and I had some energy and all that kind of good stuff. And I was like, I hate to go to sleep because I don't know how I'm going to wake up. Am I going to wake up feeling the same? Am I going to wake up feeling bad? You just never know. And I was just almost, the thought of having some relief and energy at that moment, and going to sleep and then waking up with none was just, hard to think about. And so I did go to sleep, and I refluxed all night long. So I really didn't get sleep. I was all night long refluxing, and just I would doze off and wake up and get strangled on reflux. That's so aggravating. So aggravating. And then this morning, the GI doctor's office called, and they did move my appointment up to June the 13th. So we was in September. We got it moved up to July, and now we got it moved up to June the 13th. So a little bit closer. That's not too far away, about 2.5 weeks. So we will get there soon. We'll get there soon. And she had told me at the last appointment to just take those medicines. Don't change anything that I eat or drink. Keep everything the same. But mainly because I don't have that much to choose from. Mashed potatoes or ice cream or some carrot souffle. I don't have a lot. If you cut out any of that, I was going to leave me just about with nothing. So she said, we don't want to take nothing away. Let's try to work around that. So that's what we were doing. Okay. Now we're almost done with this. I have 3 more rounds. And then I have to just do the thins. So we're at a single crochet and a decrease. And I need to back this up because I feel like I am just all up in your face. Anyway, I will be glad to get that appointment with her, although I do know that her recommendation is to surgically insert a J-tube through my abdomen wall into my intestines. I already know that that's what she wants to do. And that's not what I want to do. I don't want a J-tube. I just don't want to do it. With my feeding tube that I have now, I had to have 5. We had to do it 5 times before it finally took. And one of those was removing it and putting it into a new place. And one of them was doing a GJ tube. And those just never stay in place. And mine didn't, and most people's don't. They flip, they come out. Mine was even stitched in place, and it still came out. So, just to surgically put a J-tube in would be the best bet. What she said. That's what she wants to do. Like I said, it's painful getting a feeding tube. It's painful. It takes a while to heal. And then it can be a lot of complications and pain associated with it, and all that. So no, I don't want to do it. But she's kind of saying that's what you got to have done. But if she is going to go that route, and I'm going to have to do the surgery, I am gonna see if I'm still a candidate for the Niacin surgery. It's where they close up your bottom of your esophagus that goes into your stomach. That my flap obviously is very open. Most people's closes. Mine is obviously wide open. And I'm refluxing. Oh my goodness, I didn't put my stitch marker back in. I don't know where. Oh my goodness. Well, let me see what the next row is. decreases. Ugh. I'm just going to make it up the rest of the way. It's okay, I can do it. I can do it. Anyway, so if she does the niacin surgery, which closes that flap, so I'm not refluxing all the time, which I'm refluxing all the time because my gastroparesis is just so bad. The scleroderma and the gastroparesis is working together to make it, you know, as bad as they can. I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around to close it up because I don't know where that ends. So it'll be okay. It'll be okay. But the thing with the niacin surgery, then you cannot throw up. But I would have this button here in my stomach that I could open and drain my stomach for relief when need be. If I was sick and needed to throw up or bloated, sometimes I have to do that just to let air out of my stomach when I'm really bloated and hurting. So, oh, I need to stuff it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Let me grab some stuffing. Okay, so I got my stuffing. Another reason why I'm nervous about getting a J-tube is because it would be done in Shreveport, which is about a 2.5 hour drive from us. And so being in the hospital 2.5 hours away from home is a lot on me and Jody. Him having to take off work, be over there, you know, in another town. Him trying to, you know, do food for himself and stuff like that in another town that you're not all that familiar with, and you got to travel around to get food and stuff, and being away from our animals. I don't know how long I'd be in the hospital, but it all just kind of there's a lot of dread to it. You know, I dread that. I dread him having to be away from the animals, or us having to be away from the animals, and not here to take care of them. You know, I'd have to figure out something, which Dakota could come and feed them. Zeke could, but I just have reservations for a child. Zeke is a good kid. Don't get me wrong. He's a good kid, but he's still a kid. And kids are curious and have, you know, curiosities and things. And I just wouldn't want him to get hurt with anything in our house. Yeah, we have guns. And I just wouldn't want him trying to play with a gun, and, you know, you never know what a kid is going to do. Even though I do trust Zeke, he's still a kid, okay? And I just don't want that to happen at my house. I don't know. Zeke's dad's not a hunter, and so he's not been raised around guns. Our kids was raised, they were taught gun safety from very on, even with their toy guns, Big Daddy's guns that he bought them. They were taught gun safety from very early on, even when they had toy guns. You know, Big Daddy taught them you never point that at anyone. You know, you only if you're, you know, willing to shoot it. You know what I'm saying? And so he taught them gun safety. I don't believe that Zeke has been taught. My eyes are not straight. Maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe it's the stuffing. I need to get a little bit more stuffing right here and then just roll it around. And sometimes you can manipulate that stuffing on the inside from the outside once you get it closed up. Just rolling around your hand and all. So here we go. Alright, so let me see what I can do right here now. So anyway, what was I going? Oh, so I did wake up to that phone call this morning after a miserable night of refluxing. So that was kind of like, thank you, Jesus, you know, maybe this is going to be over soon. And so it was nice to, you know that my appointment's moved up, which it was just a receptionist that called to move my appointment up. Because I'm sure when I went to the doctor last, she said, I'm going to try to get you in earlier. And I thought, good luck, woman. All right. I'm going to snip that with a little bit of tail just to get it in there. Okay, let's see what I can do right here to close this off. But anyway, and then after I got the news that my appointment's moved up, I did call, I text my friend, no, I text Big Daddy, because he was at work. I text him, and then I called my friend Angela, and I said, Arshner's called me, and she said, what for? I said, that's just checking to see if I'm still alive. And then we both laughed, because I always say, after an appointment, she said, what do they say? I said, he said, you know, like whatever doctor I go see, my primary doctor, I'll say, he said if I'm still alive in 2 months, come back. Of course, he doesn't say that, but he may as well. He says, you know, I'll see you back in 2 months. And what I hear is, if you're still alive in 2 months, come back. And so that's what I told Angela. They said that they was just calling, checking to see if I was still alive. But, so, oh, that's cute. I like the way the little mouth turned out. Alright, so anyway, my appointment's moved up, so I got up and stirred around a little bit, but I just didn't get any sleep from all that reflux and all, so I ended up sitting back down in my chair, and I dozed off, and then when Paige got here, Phoebe was barking, it woke me up, and the door was locked. It's usually unlocked, but it was locked, and so I had to get up and let her in. And we're going to try to get a doorknob that has a code on it so she can have her own code to get in. That's what we're going to try to do pretty soon. All right, now I just got to do thins on each side, and I hadn't decided if I'm going to do that the way the thin was supposed to be put on. I don't know if I'm going to do that one or if I'm going to do a like I'm doing a little tube. Let me see. I could do... I'm just making these up, okay? I mean, well, one of them, this one, I could do... Lord. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to do 6, and then I'm going to do a single crochet and a half double crochet, and then a double crochet, and then a double crochet, and then a half double crochet in the very last stitch, or the first chain that I actually did. Okay. Yep, I think that works just fine. And I'm going to leave just a tiny bit of tail here. Pull that through, and I got to do one more for the other side. And so I'll just put that on right here. All right, let me do one more. Okay, so I'm putting my fins on. I almost forgot to turn the camera back on to record any of this. So I've tied them in there really well, and now I'm hiding the ends down into the fish and coming out the bottom side of it. So they're hiding. I mean, it's turned out really well. I'm very, very pleased with that. Just adding the fins on as a no-sew project just did not work for me, but it's easy enough to just add the fins afterwards. I'm going to push that back in there, and let's see if I had something over here. Just push that in. Throw away my scrap tails. And I think it has a frill on the top of the fish here. So let me read about that. See what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so actually it says this top fin is optional. So I'm going to opt to not do it, okay? Because this video has gotten long and I really just want to finish it off and get my video uploaded for today. So yeah, there's my goldfish. Its fins are kind of out there. They're kind of floppy, but they're on there. And they might even be even. I don't know. Oh, so it is going to my booth when I get a run up there. Uh-oh, something fell. Oh, I think a metal needle. But I've got this fish done. He's cute. I like how he turned out. Like I said, I'm just going to opt not to do this top fin. Just because. And it's good. It's good to go like it is. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all so very much. And I will see you all in the next video. Glad you come and hung out with me while I chatted and crocheted and worked on this fish today. And yeah, cute. Bye, friends. This fish did turn out so cute. I can see myself making more of these in the future, but for now I just made one to get it in my crochet booth and see how it does and see if it's any interest in it. Who knows, I may make more. Remember guys, it's a beautiful day to crochet. I hope you have a wonderful, blessed day, and I'll see you next